Coming up on Arirang News. The leaders of North Korea and Russia sign a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement, upgrading their military cooperation to a new level during Putin's rare two-day visit to Pyongyang, his first in more than 2 decades. Amid South Korea's worst birth rate that's expected to fall to 0.65 in 2025, President Yoon Suk-yeol officially declared this and population decline a national emergency. South Korea experienced record-high temperatures today, the highest yet in June so far, with the mercury hitting 35 degrees Celsius in the capital. We take to the streets to look at how the heat wave is gripping Korea. Good evening. It's 9 p.m. here in Seoul. Thank you for joining us on Arirang News. North Korean leader Kim Jongun and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement during the Russian leader's first state visit to the regime in 24 years. The agreement implies strengthened military cooperation between Pyongyang and Moscow. Our Choi Min-jung leads us off.
The leaders of North Korea and Russia agreed to elevate their relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership. Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin inked the agreement on Wednesday following their summit in Pyongyang. According to Sputnik News, Putin said the agreement implies mutual assistance in case of aggression against either of the participants. He added that Russia does not exclude the development of military technical cooperation with North Korea in connection with the partnership. According to Reuters, Kim said the relationship between the two sides was raised to an alliance, implying that the countries would expand military cooperation as well. He stressed, however, that the agreement was peaceful and defensive in nature, adding he has no doubt that it will become the driving force accelerating the creation of a new multipolar world. Such agreement adds fuel to the fire as Pyongyang and Moscow's military cooperation, which developed since Kim's meeting with Putin in Russia last September, has already sparked global security concerns. Putin also called for a review of indefinite sanctions against North Korea by the UN Security Council, saying that the restrictive measures were inspired by the US and its allies. Prior to the signing, Kim and Putin sat down for a summit. Putin appreciated North Korea's consistent and unwavering support for Russian policy, including on Ukraine. Kim then expressed the regime's full support and solidarity with Russia in conducting military operations in Ukraine.
North Korea expresses full support for the Russian government's special military operation in Ukraine to protect its sovereignty, interests, and the stability of its territory.
The two also discussed ways to strengthen their bilateral ties, as Putin mentioned a new fundamental document.
Last year, as a result of your visit to Russia, we made significant progress in building up our relations. Today, a new fundamental document has been prepared that will outline the basis of our relationship over the long term.
Putin expressed his intention of meeting with Kim again, saying he hopes this will be held in the Russian capital. The Russian leader arrived in North Korea early Wednesday morning for his first state visit since 2000. Choi Min-jung, Arirang News.
And the world is closely watching this summit in Pyongyang. Washington is voicing concerns over deepening ties between Pyongyang and Moscow, while Beijing stays reticent, but experts say China will feel some discomfort. Our Kim Bo-kyung shares some insights with an expert view.
Russian President Vladimir Putin arrived in North Korea for his first visit in 24 years, pledging strong support for the regime. This, an expert says, could make the United States worried about two aspects: peace and stability on the Korean peninsula and the war in Ukraine.
The US would be most worried about how North Korea's munitions could be used for the Ukraine war and prevent Washington from ending it. In terms of the Korean peninsula, there will also be worries about North Korea's striking power, as its nuclear and missile capabilities could get a boost.
These words are reflected in what Washington officials have had to say regarding Putin's visit to Pyongyang.
What we are concerned about, Trevor, is the deepening relationship between these two countries. Not just because of the impacts it's going to have on the Ukrainian people, because we know North Korean ballistic missiles are still being used to hit Ukrainian targets, but because there could be some reciprocity here that could affect security on the Korean Peninsula.
The deepening cooperation between Russia and the DPRK is something that should be of concern, especially to anyone that's interested in maintaining peace and stability on the Korean Peninsula, but also supporting the people of Ukraine as they continue to fight against Russian aggression.
Thus, Jean-Pierre, the White House spokeswoman, has urged Putin to convey to Kim that only political and diplomatic ways should be used to resolve issues on the Korean Peninsula, as he agreed during the previous summit with Chinese leader Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, media outlets have focused on how China could be left with conflicted feelings as Russia and North Korea's rapprochement deepens. Though China does recognize how inevitable it is for Russia and North Korea to become cozier with each other due to sanctions imposed by the U.S., and Beijing itself has been able to ease the pressure of having to provide international cover for Pyongyang, it cannot help but worry for their deepening bilateral ties because of the U.S.
China does say a boost in North Korea-Russia ties is because of the United States, but Beijing cannot welcome their growing ties fully because it could lead to Washington's increased military involvement on the Korean Peninsula.
Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News.
In the meantime, South Korean Industry Minister An Deok-gun met the Communist Party chief of China's eastern province of Jiangsu on Wednesday to discuss ways to boost economic ties. During talks with Jiangsu's Communist Party Secretary Shin Chang-sheng, An said the province plays a key role in supply chains between the two countries and asked for the local government to create predictable business circumstances for South Korean companies operating there. Jiangsu province is the biggest partner region in China for South Korea, with the trade volume reaching more than $72 billion last year. This accounts for more than 23% of the total trade between South Korea and China. Nearly 3,000 South Korean companies, including Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix, are operating in the region. Shifting gears, President Yoon Suk-yeol says the current birth rate is causing concerns as far as the existence of the nation, and efforts cannot be delayed further. While he's called it a national emergency before, today he officially declared it. Our Kim Do-yeon reports.
A population state of emergency has been officially declared in South Korea, with the government expecting the fertility rate to fall to 0.65 in 2025.
저는 오늘 인구 국가 비상사태를 선언하고 저출생 문제를 극복하는 그날까지 범국가적 총력 대응 체계를 가동할 것입니다.
This coming as President Yoon Suk-yeol on Wednesday presided over a presidential committee on aging society and population policy meeting, the second time to do so. The president added that 3 areas will be the focus of the government's all-out efforts: work and family life balance, childcare, and housing. For work and family balance, the government aims to up the current rate of dads taking paternity leave to 50% from current 6.8. For this, the government will financially support companies temporarily losing employees while upping the first 3 months of the government's parental leave pay to a maximum of 2.5 million Korean won, or about $1,800 from current $1,000. The government is also expanding public childcare programs so children aged from 3 to 5 will receive free education and care. Lastly, for housing, newlyweds and couples with newborns will receive financial support while being prioritized when purchasing a newly built home. But that's not all.
저출생은 이런 양립, 양육, 주거 3대 핵심 분야 이외에도 수도권 집중과 같은 사회 구조적 요인과 경쟁 압력, 높은 불안과 같은 사회 문화적 요인이 복합적으로 얽혀 있습니다. 특히 우리 사회의 과도하고 불필요한 경쟁 문화를 바꿔서 더 여유 있고 성숙한 사회가 될 수 있도록 노력해야 합니다.
President Yoon has called the current low birth rate a national emergency before and said he will create a new ministry for this and have its minister be the Deputy Prime Minister for Social Affairs, a role the current education minister holds, showing the new role's significant power and responsibility. But the creation of a new ministry will need the support of the opposition-led parliament, which is always an uphill battle. Meanwhile, before the meeting, he took time to visit a child care center run by a company in Gyeonggi-do province where the meeting was held too. He spoke to children and teachers there to see what's needed. By law, companies in South Korea with more than 300 full-time female workers or at least 500 full-time workers need to have their own child care centers. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News.
Now turning to the medical dispute. Internal discord has arisen among regional doctors' associations following the announcement of an indefinite walkout by the head of the Korea Medical Association. Our Choi Soo-hyung brings the latest.
During a national strike led by the Korean Medical Association on Tuesday, its president, Im Hyun-taek, announced an indefinite walkout starting June 27th. However, following this statement, the president of the Gyeonggi-do Medical Association said he was completely unaware of this indefinite walkout and that all 16 regional medical association presidents were surprised by Im's sudden announcement. Also, private medical practitioners said that an indefinite strike had not been discussed or decided upon. In addition, the Korean Intern Resident Association expressed opposition to the KMA. Im had proposed forming a countermeasure committee encompassing all doctors' associations and offered a co-chair position to Park Dan, the head of the KIRA. However, Park posted on Facebook on Wednesday that he too had not heard anything about this, saying KIRA would not participate, while criticizing Im's indefinite strike declaration. Meanwhile, professors of medicine at the country's Big Five university hospitals have either begun or are planning to begin walkouts of undetermined lengths. Medical professors at Seoul National University Hospital started an indefinite work stoppage from Monday, excluding emergency and intensive care services. Professors at several hospitals, a training hospitals of Yonsei University Medical School, are set to join the walkout on June 27th. Those at Asan Medical Center, the training hospital of Ulsan University, will stop work for a week starting July 4th. While medical professors at the Catholic University of Korea will discuss the matter on Thursday, and those at Sungkyunkwan University will also hold a meeting shortly. However, even during the walkouts, the professors will ensure there is essential medical staffing for emergency and severe care services and intensive care units and delivery rooms. To minimize severe medical disruptions, the government has implemented a rotational on-call system for emergency cases. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
Record high temperatures for any June were recorded during the daytime today all across the country. The first heat wave advisory of the summer was issued in the capital. Our Lee Eun-hee tells us more.
With the heat expected to last a bit longer, temperatures in Seoul reached 35 degrees on Wednesday, marking the peak for this summer so far. Heatwave advisories are issued when the highest feels-like temperature is expected to reach 33 degrees Celsius or higher for 2 consecutive days. Seoul's first heatwave advisory of the year has been in effect since Monday at 10 a.m. Let's hear from those who are outdoors braving the heat.
I like sleeveless clothes. The weather is extremely hot, almost scorching. Although air quality has improved compared to last year, the intense heat makes me feel like I'm in Europe.
Today I left the house without sunglasses or a parasol, and it's so hot that I'm starting to think outdoor activities might be difficult. So I think it would be better to cool off in an exhibition hall and enjoy some artwork indoors. It's really hot right now.
This year's heatwave advisory for Seoul was issued one day later than last year. The entire Seoul metropolitan area is now under a heatwave advisory, except for the city of Incheon. In other regions, the heat is more severe, including Goyang City in Gyeonggi-do Province, where the daytime high reached up to 37 degrees Celsius. Currently, a heatwave advisory has been issued for 92 regions across the country, predominantly in inland areas. Meanwhile, starting from Wednesday night, Jeju Island is expected to experience its first monsoon of the summer. Lee In-hee, Arirang News.
Now turning to trade. South Korea's overall current account surplus increased last year, but its current account balance differed with each country. It saw a record surplus with United States, but a record deficit with China. Our Lee Soo-jin has the details.
South Korea recorded its largest ever current account deficit with China last year, but also the largest ever current account surplus with the United States. According to the Bank of Korea on Wednesday, South Korea's overall current account balance recorded a surplus of more than $35 billion last year, up from around $25 billion from the year before. This was mostly driven by its current account surplus with the United States surging from nearly $69 billion in 2022 to $91 billion last year. That's the largest current account surplus with the United States on record since related data was first collected. And this was led by the current account balance for goods recording its largest surplus ever thanks to strong demand for automobiles and machinery. On the other hand, South Korea's current account balance with China recorded a deficit of $30 billion, also a record high. South Korea's current account balance with China has remained in the red for 2 consecutive years after falling into negative territory for the first time in 21 years in 2022. And last year's deficit was greater than that of 2022. This comes as outbound shipments of goods, namely chips, plunged by a large margin, while inbound shipments of goods dropped only slightly.
South Korea's current account balance with the United States has shown an increasing surplus since 2020, while its current account balance with China has shown a greater deficit in 2023 than in 2022. It looks as though this decoupling trend driven by rising exports of AI chips will continue.
As for its current account balance with other nations, South Korea's current account deficit with Japan last year shrank compared to a year earlier due to decreased imports of goods such as chemical products. But its current account surplus with Southeast Asian countries fell as outbound shipments of chips, oil, and chemical products fell. The Bank of Korea official said that this surplus drop seen with the Southeast Asia region was, however, offset by the record surplus with the U.S., and that the central bank believes that exports to the U.S. will remain robust for a prolonged period. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
Recent data has shown that South Korea's exports are riding a high once again with the booming IT and auto industries. The Trade Ministry revealed on Wednesday that outbound shipments between January and May this year rose by nearly 10% compared to the same period the year before, recording the second highest sum ever for this period. In particular, IT exports such as semiconductors and computers showed a 40% rise and were responsible for around a quarter of total exports. Auto exports, in the meantime, recorded the highest sum on record. The country's exports have seen on-year growth for 8 months straight. South Korea has clinched a $920 million deal to export K9 self-propelled howitzers to Romania. The Defense Ministry said on Wednesday that the decision was made during the two countries' defense ministerial talks in Romania. Defense Minister Shin Won-sik thanked his Romanian counterpart, Andrei Tilver, and added that the deal will further boost defense and arms cooperation. The deal marks Romania's biggest arms acquisition in 7 years. During a summit in Seoul last year, the leaders of the two countries agreed to improve cooperation in defense. With the development of AI technology and automation, the concept of smart logistics is looking to become more prevalent. Our An Sung-jin takes a look at this trend from production to consumption.
In the age of digital transformation, from manufacturing to sales, the retail industry is looking to become more automated using robots.
According to Business Research Insights, a data-based market intelligence company, the global market for automation is currently at $100 million and is expected to grow to $165 billion by 2031. Smart Tech Korea, a trade show hosted by the Trade Ministry from Wednesday this week, holds an array of events such as the Robot Tech Show and the Retail and Logis Tech Show, showcasing robot technology and solutions that are applied to the logistics process. But how is the process of production to consumption about to change with such connected and automated AI technology? One company says that jobs at warehouses will be further automated.
If I say in future, maybe in the industry, production industry, for the assembly lines, or maybe for assembling something.
Including production, loading and packaging can also be automated with robotic arms picking up boxes weighing 20 kilograms and storing them. Most industry insiders say that companies are looking to reduce labor costs and use robots or automated technology instead for increased productivity, even if initial costs to implement the technology may be hefty.
One concern most Asian countries, including South Korea, have is that as real estate prices and human labor costs rise, businesses are losing efficiency. Integrating these solutions can help enhance the return on investment.
In addition to production and distribution for producers, higher industrial automation, such as the use of RFID, reduces human intervention, which may reduce error and inefficiency for consumers as well.
Not only can these reduce excess costs for the producers, but they also provide better experiences for customers, since they can also benefit from the automation process of unmanned sales.
As more of the logistics processes are looking to become automated, factory layouts and industries will be changing accordingly. And as the Trade Ministry has said, the government is looking to further assist the process. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Today, Seoul saw its first heat wave warning issued for the year, with temperatures in the capital soaring up to 35 degrees Celsius. The scorching heat will continue tomorrow, with Seoul again seeing 35 degrees during the daytime. On the other hand, Jeju Island will see heavy rain from late tonight until the day after tomorrow, with up to 200 millimeters in mountainous areas of the island. In addition, 5 to 20 millimeters of rain will fall in southern parts of the country tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, Daejeon, Gwangju, Daegu, and Jeju will start off at 21 degrees Celsius. This will move up to 35 degrees in Seoul, Chuncheon, and Daejeon. Hot conditions will continue for the rest of the week with no rain in Seoul. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world. Well, that is all for this newscast tonight. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow morning with the latest news. Good night.